So I think we all know that feeling when you're really eager to get started doing something. You go out, you buy all the right gear, you dive straight in, you get your feet wet. But really, in the end, you find out once you start doing that you actually know completely nothing. Well, that was me many years ago when I started investing. I knew I wanted to do it. I didn't really know how to do it, so I kind of just threw myself in, feet first, not really knowing much at all. And the platform I used was just purely based on a recommendation from a friend, and that's how I ended up with Hargreaves Lansdown and stuck with them all these years later. Now, for all the great things about the platform, and just like any platform, there's pros and cons, there's certainly plenty of details and certainly plenty of disadvantages potentially on this platform, which I found out and learned about over the years, which I wanted to share with you today. And for full transparency and hopefully some credibility from my side, so I've been using the platform for more than 6 years. I have a stocks and shares ISA on the platform, a self-invested pension plan, as well as a general investing account. I've moved pensions, sold positions, bought funds, bought US stocks, bought UK stocks, and manage a 6-figure portfolio on the Hargreaves Lansdown platform. So hopefully I know what I'm talking about. And in this video, we're going to run through 10 different things that I wish I'd known before starting investing, which certainly would have made me a little bit richer and potentially made me make a few less mistakes along the way. And for the video, I've teamed up with Sam over at the Sam Stocks YouTube channel, a new creator just like myself. Feel free to go check out his channel afterwards, but for this video, we're going to do 5 points each. So anyway, in no particular order, let's get straight into this. I've got 5 points, Sam's got 5 points, and hopefully by the end of the video, you'll understand a few more intricate things and intricate details that you might not already know about investing in Hargreaves Lansdown, and to be honest, in general platforms as well. And starting from my side, let's talk about the inevitable thing when it comes to trading. Not death, not taxes, it's fees. Fees are just an inevitable part of trading, and whether they're hidden in the background, built into the spread, or built into some weird other way, whether you pay an account fee every month, you can't get away from fees. The most important thing as an investor is really knowing where the fees are and potentially how you can reduce them. Now, Hargreaves Lansdown are unfortunately on the high side. That's not to say that their account fee isn't necessarily justified, but trading individual stocks is certainly pricey when compared to the rest of the market. To trade individual stocks and shares on Hargreaves Lansdown's website, you need to pay £11.95 per share, and that does gradually reduce if you make more than 10 trades in a month, which for most users is probably not going to be the case. The warning here is with a fixed cost. If you're running quite a small portfolio and making small trades, that £11.95 will be a very large percentage. So unless you're making trades of thousands and tens of thousands, you'd need to be aware of that, as that could eat into your returns very, very quickly. In the future, I can see these fees being changed and reduced as market competition gets better. As we know, newer platforms like Free Trade and Trading 212 are shaking things up a bit, being completely free at use and no charges for individual trades. So if anyone from Hargreaves Lansdown watches this, get on those fees, because I think in the long term, you'll lose out to a lot of new people. And of course, we've all seen what's happened with Robinhood in the US. There's a huge amount of money to be made with new retail investors. For my second point, we're staying on fees, but this time it's how we pay those fees. Now with Hargreaves Lansdown at the moment, there's no way to pay your fees by something like direct debit or from your bank transfer. You need to have cash in your account. And I'll say it again, this one's really, really important. You must have cash in your Hargreaves Lansdown account to pay for those account fees, because if you don't, they will sell those assets to pay for it. They will sell your shares, or they will sell your different funds which you might be invested in to pay for those fees. Even if it's a couple of pounds or whatever, they will sell your account to make sure you pay for those fees. So you must have cash in your account. This one's really easy to get caught out on. Luckily, I haven't, but I probably was close a couple of times without really paying attention. If I could make a suggestion to improve this, I know platforms like Vanguard, which I'm using at the moment, will allow me to pay my fees directly from my bank in a kind of direct debit style fashion, rather than having to keep cash on account. So just be aware of that one. Now we're going to jump over to Sam for 2 more points.
Thanks, Toby, and as a keen user of Hargreaves Lansdown myself, I've noticed a few key areas for improvement. My overall outlook on the platform is that it's easy to navigate, it's got a good user experience, but here are my 5 things that I feel would make that platform and user experience that much better. At number 1, we've got the separation of cash accounts and your primary account. When a dividend comes in, it's added to what's called your cash account. This separation of the 2 areas, I feel, blurs the lines when identifying where your money is and the various accounts. It just feels overly complicated, like there's too many pots your money could be in. Now, the benefit of this is that you can choose what happens to this dividend income when it comes in, using your income instruction settings. For example, automatically reinvest, held on account, or paid out. However, going back to functionality, I wouldn't say this separation is something that should be default for all users unless chosen. In at number 2, we've got the customer service. Now, I've personally messaged Hargreaves Lansdown using their secure message feature, and the response has always been very informative and quick, comprehensively explaining the feature in a very nice way. You're tucking away your money, you want to know firstly it's with a reputable and respected brand, and secondly it's somewhere that you can reach easily. And this great customer service really gives that feel. 4 points on this one.
Thanks, Sam. Now on to a couple more points from me. So this one's more of just something good to know, that holding cash or inactivity or opening an account on the Hargreaves Lansdown platform doesn't cost you a penny. And now, although we don't see these kind of things happening too much in the industry, there are old brokers and there are platforms out there, if you look in the small print, which charge you for not doing anything for a year or 2 years or something like that. And those fees can potentially add up, especially if they're charging you just to hold cash in your account. So this is a big tick in the box for me, a good thing to know and a positive thing for me that knows that I have an account. It doesn't cost me anything to have that account open or have cash sat in that account. Do be aware though, there are different charges for holding funds and shares depending on which account you open, whether that's a fund and share account, your SIP account, or your stocks and shares ISA. You can find them all on the website in Hargreaves Lansdown, but just be aware of them. And next, this one might be a bit of a bug or something that maybe I've just encountered, but I couldn't have more than one withdrawal open at any one time. So let me walk you through the example. I had some dividends coming which I wanted to sell to invest in another platform, and I also had another pot of cash which I wanted to withdraw at the same time. Now I initiated the trade of the dividends to leave the account, but then when I went to withdraw more money from the money which I had left in the account, it just came up saying you've got a pending withdrawal, and there was nowhere to access on the website or on the app that said I could initiate another one. Now I'm sure if I gave them a call or put a secure message in, I probably could have done that, but just to be aware of, if you are using that web platform or if you are using the app, I certainly couldn't find it anywhere simply to make more than one withdrawal at one time. And I know that won't affect a huge amount of people, but there will be some more sophisticated traders and people who are more active who might want to know about that. So if anyone from Hargreaves Lansdown's watching this, maybe have a look into this, and if I'm wrong and I'm an idiot, let me know in the comment section below. So Sam, what's the next two things on your list?
Whilst it is brilliant that this feature exists within the platform, it's slightly less brilliant how they've executed this. As mentioned in point number one thing you can do with your dividends when they come in is automatically reinvest them. The downside to this, however, is the fact that the minimum reinvestment is £10. This means that if you have a portfolio on the smaller side of things, those small dividends aren't going to go back into your account until they reach the £10 threshold. You can, however, change this threshold if you're raking in those dividends, but the minimum is £10. One thing to note is that there is a 1% fee for automatic reinvestment, which isn't great news, but it's a small enough amount to the point where you likely wouldn't realise it. In at number 4, we've got the exchange rate of the dollar. There is a 1% fee on pound to dollar transactions, so this is definitely something to be aware of when buying products in US dollars. On the flip side of things, there are plenty of assets in Great British pounds, so this is definitely something that you could skirt around.
The next point from me is definitely not specific to Hargreaves Lansdown, but it is worth knowing as an investor, especially if you're getting started, about how buying funds works. So as a rule, because of regulations and laws regarding reporting structures, you can't buy funds which are US based. That doesn't necessarily mean you can't buy funds with US companies in them. It's all to do with the UCITS reporting structure. So unless you see those letters UCITS in those funds, it will typically mean that you cannot, as a retail investor, buy popular index funds from the UK to the US. And that's regardless of what platform you use. There are a couple of caveats to that I'm aware of. You need to be a sophisticated investor, so you're pretty much going to need to be a professional or have a very significant account size to get access to those. And the reason I bring this up is because, of course, you hear a lot of YouTubers, and there's a huge amount of financial YouTubers on this platform, especially based in the US, and they'll throw out ticker symbols like VTI, VOO, SPY, etc. And you don't have access to those as a UK investor. There are lots of UK equivalents, which are really useful and worth looking into. And in fact, I will do a video soon. Let me know in the comment section below if you find this interesting, comparing some of the US popular funds with what we can get in the UK, because we can pretty much get them like for like, but it's worth being aware of when you search for different ticker symbols which aren't available. So just be aware of that one. And because the US market's larger, they can get some cheaper fees, but we're really only talking like 0.01% cheaper now. It's definitely not like it was in the past. It's a much better competitive market we've got in the UK now. Now heading back to Sam to cover off those two more final points.
Now finally, and in my opinion, the most important, easiest change that Hargreaves Lansdown could make is adding graph views. Many other apps and platforms have it on the first page, a nice clear view of how your portfolio has performed over time. Unfortunately, with Hargreaves Lansdown, this graph view does not exist, and the equivalent is your account statement, which is a lot of things, but it's not a substitute for a lovely graph view of your prized portfolio. All in all, it is a great platform. I would recommend it for those who are serious about long-term investing and are looking for a platform to help them along with that. But it does seem as some of these areas could do with a tiny bit of work. Back to you, Toby.
Thanks, Sam. Great working with you on this one. Appreciate the support. If you do want to check out Sam's YouTube channel, I will leave a link in the description below. He runs as Sam Stocks on YouTube. Anyway, that was 10 things I wish I knew about Hargreaves Lansdown before I started investing. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. As I said